Let's have a review of the guest I had, and thank you to all of them for spending time with me, and also the different things we learn and different perspectives. Hi everyone. Not only because it's the end of 2023, but also because we launched Retention Zone this fall, and we are now after 10 episodes. I wanted to do a summary of the people I met, the people I invited to this video podcast that is focused on the retention part of video streaming, and more in general, and the challenges in monetizing streaming video platforms. This is presented by Kling, hosted by Carlo De Marchis, me. I had 10 guests, very different part of the business, very different perspective. So I think Retention Zone was kind of a challenge because it's not a huge discussion point normally. So that's why we wanted to do Retention Zone, because it's an area of streaming that often is not really talked about, especially in more in mainstream way. If you're into monetizing video, you definitely talk about the subscription side. Now the hybrid with AVOD and SVOD getting together. As we are sports-centric, live sport, streaming had always a lot of attention in terms of the video quality, the buffering. But I think some years ago, we already realized that the monetization part is crucial. So let's have a review of the guest I had, and thank you to all of them for spending time with me, and also the different things we learn and different perspectives. For episode 1, we had Nick Meacham. Nick Meacham is the CEO of Sports Pro Media, and he was doing a quite interesting podcast episode with Chris Stone on the relaunch of NFL Game Pass International inside DAZN. So I thought he is the one good for the first episode, because he was talking about the transition between an audience that was used to have a specific app, NFL Game Pass International, move inside the DAZN ecosystem, what it means in transforming an audience and retaining an audience when you move to a different product, streaming product.
How do you retain them? Because once you lose them, the ability to bring them back in is just so much more difficult.
The Sepulchre episode was with Mark Schweitzer, CMG Consulting. He was possibly the person that taught me the most at the beginning, 2017, I think, about direct-to-consumer marketing for digital products. We did an intense, private masterclass, I would call it. Many hours in Zoom, explaining all the different aspects of direct-to-consumer marketing, the funnel, the data part. It was really my foundational moment in direct-to-consumer marketing. Thank you, Mark.
So once you've acquired somebody, there's much more of a premium on retaining. So I'd say the emphasis on retention has grown significantly over time.
In episode 3, I had a very busy Rua Aguete from Omdia. She's one of the experts in media from the analyst point of view, and she's often on stage in conferences. So it was great to spend some time with her, understanding how she sees, the challenges around monetizing streaming video, and also the kind of recipes. She was talking about gaming as part of the content portfolio that streaming platforms should have. So it's a very different point of view, and again, with a lot of data to back the opinions in this case, because she's an analyst.
In the world of streaming video, the future is hybrid. That total revenues for gaming will overtake pay TV, becoming the second source of revenue in 2028.
And then for episode 4, I had with me Joachim Bergman. He has quite a long experience in the industry, from the broadcast side then to the streaming side. He was CEO of Red Bee and then at 24i. With Joachim, we had a great conversation about the different aspects of how you build an audience and how you retain an audience, and coming from what you saw in the industry in the few last years.
For the OTT providers, it's clearly not growth anymore. It's kind of profitability, and profitability can be done in many ways.
Episode 5 was with Tom McJanet from Two Circles. We spent quite some years together working on NFL Game Pass International. It was clearly on the marketing strategy side. So it was really a deep dive into the mechanic of how you grow an audience, because that product grew 30% every year in subscribers and revenue for the last 5 years. So quite a success story. And how you have to use quite sophisticated mechanisms, not tricks, but best practices, tools, data. Everything is at the end starting from data. And also how you set targets. So it was a very useful conversation.
We would look at tenure very closely and treat people that have come into the product in the last 12 months very differently. You know, if you're acquiring fans, but then immediately losing those fans through churn, you've got a significant challenge.
Episode 6 was with Marcus Heidenberg from Axido. And his perspective is, if you want, how the user journey and the customer experience helps retaining customer in terms of, they need to find what they want to watch or be proposed what to watch. So if you want a different perspective, always in the realm of how you retain an audience.
So churn is obviously something that they need to work with, but also the retention strategies that they have for specific retention and attention, because sports is very cyclical as well.
Episode 7 was with my friend Marco Lorenzi. We used to work together. He's now at SimpleStream. And I think what I captured from talking to him was this concept of content is aggregating and technology is fragmenting. So it's quite an interesting point of view.
There is one dominating factor that we are seeing as playing sort of an integral role, like in this process, and that's clearly price. And
Episode 8, so Vinit Mehta, India, Dubai, long experience in streaming. He basically opened Brightcove in India in the past. So his perspective on the India market is really fascinating because it's different from EU, it's different from US. There are a lot of mechanics that are different. So it's very fascinating, the discussion we had with Vinit.
Retaining customers, loyalty are the two hottest topics in OTT in India.
Episode 9 was with Pat Fitzgerald from New York. And I work in at Action Network. We also spent a lot of time together on NFL Game Pass International on the product side. So it's very good to talk to Pat, understanding how marketing and product can work together to optimize on one end the offering for customers, because in the end it's the value exchange that brings conversion and retention and basically keep customers engaged on your platform.
I think the important thing is the ability to test, to figure out what it is that the users are going to gravitate to see and observe what those features are. And then when you start to see some traction, when you start to see some pickup on that, lean into those things, right? Mm-hmm. And deepen those kinds of features, right?
The final episode for this year was with Gilles Dumartini, the CEO and founder at Kling. And with him, we really did kind of a mini masterclass on how you organize subscription and retention for streaming services from someone that is spending basically his last 12 years just focusing on subscription and retention and creating tools that make it easy for customers and partners to do it.
I think what to me is super interesting is whether we could combine, let's say, the ARPU analysis and all the churn and retention metrics to factor the advertising revenue per user.
So thank you to all the guests for this first run of Retention Zone in 2023. Thanks to the one that spent some time listening to us. And thank you to Kling for supporting this effort with Retention Zone. See you in 2024.